This here is the Self-Care Prescription Podcast with Dr. Robyn Gobin. And let's just get right into it, Dr. Robyn. We know and see that you're Dr. Robyn Gobin. You're an author, you're a speaker, you're a psychologist. But tell us more about self-care and what we can expect from this self-care podcast.
Yes, so self-care is at its most basic. It's about doing what is best for you as far as what you need to be whole, to be happy, to be healthy, mind, body, and spirit. And so that's really what self-care is. It's about asking yourself, what do I really need? Which is very different sometimes than what you want. So it's really about getting to the core of what do I need to be balanced, to be healthy, to be whole. And then it's actually having the courage to give yourself that. So that is my definition of self-care. And so on this podcast, that's what we will be talking about, is what is the true definition of self-care. I know in the media, it's a buzzword right now. Everybody's talking about self-care. Everybody's talking about treat yourself, go get a manicure, get a pedicure, take a bubble bath. And while that is one aspect of self-care, it's much deeper than that. And so that's what we're going to get into on this podcast, is what is true self-care look like, the kind of self-care that really nourishes you at a soul level. And then how can you incorporate this into your day-to-day life? You know, we all know that self-care is important more on an intellectual level. We know that. But when it comes to actually incorporating it into our lives every day, things get in the way sometimes. And so I'm going to share tips on this podcast about how do you make time for it in the midst of being a parent, being an employee, working, being an entrepreneur, and all the other hats and responsibilities that we wear in our day-to-day life. How to make time for self-care, because as we know, it's important, but we have to put that knowledge into action and actually engage in self-care on a regular basis in order for it to benefit us in our lives.
Okay, so that makes sense. So you're going to help us with needs, with wants, but also help people get the courage to actually acknowledge that they need help, that they need self-care.
Yeah, because sometimes that is an aspect of self-care, is being able to say, like, look, to step back, look at your life, examine it on a real playing field and say, like, look, these are the areas that are going well for me, but these are some areas where I have some room for growth, some room for improvement. And sometimes that might look like asking for help, getting an accountability partner if it's challenging for you to implement your self-care. But it's going to be an individual thing for everyone. Everyone is going to find themselves at a different place. Everybody's self-care needs are going to be different. And so this is about exploring, what do I need at this moment in my life to help me really be the best version of myself that I can be and show up for my life in the way that I want to show up for it.
Okay, I'm feeling I like that. Show up in my life. So this is the time where one can be selfish to get themselves right and get their life in order.
Yes, I guess you can say that in a sense, but I shy away when people say be selfish, because really I think that's a barrier for some people to engaging in self-care, is because they think that it's selfish, but really it's not. If you think about it, you have to be whole and you can't pour from an empty vessel. I'm sure people have heard that statement. And so it's about, how do you pour into yourself, so then when you go do all of the things that you do, you go do your work, you go parent, you go being a partner, you can show up for those areas of your life in a much more better way when you have taken care of yourself. So it's not selfish, it's not self-indulgent, it's just about setting yourself up for success is really what it is. Because we, the people in our lives, our partners, our children, our family, our friends, our co-workers, our employees, they deserve to get the best version of us. And so sometimes we work ourselves to the bone and then they end up getting like the residue or the leftovers. And so it's about, how do we put ourselves first, take care of ourselves, so that when we show up to do the things that we're passionate about in our lives, we can do it in a way that doesn't kind of drain us, and in a way where we're not doing it in a way that we can potentially cause harm to the people we love.
I'm feeling it. Show up and show out. So let the listeners know, where can they find Robyn at? What's your social media handles, and how frequent are you going to be doing these podcasts?
Yes, so the goal is to be doing this weekly, and I'm so excited that we're starting this in September, because this is Self-Care Awareness Month. September is, and so I think no better time than to start this podcast right now, talking about self-care, really just starting with definitions. What is it? And then going into what does this look like, and how can I make this work for me? So I am reachable on social media. My handles are at Dr. Robyn Gobin. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. So hit me up, follow me. And then this podcast will be available on all of the different podcast platforms.
And with this being a podcast, I'm going to put it out here just to let people know you are Robyn with a Y and not Robyn with an I.
Yes, Robyn with the Y. And my last name is Gobin, not Gobin. Some people like to rhyme my first and last name. So just to let people know, it's Robyn Gobin. Robyn with the Y, Gobin with the I.
There you go. There you have it. So I look forward to more self-care prescriptions coming on the podcast, and we look forward to hearing your knowledge and your expertise so we can all show up.
Yeah, and I look forward to sharing it with you. I'm on this journey too of self-care, so I look forward to continuing to level up with each of you.